So as you heard in the intro, is this working? Yeah? Yeah. So as you heard in the intro, I've had the chance to go to some pretty amazing places. But what I really hope you'll hear from me today is that what I've done has not been the result of the places I've been, but rather the chances I've taken when I've been there. So part of why I've been able to go to some really cool spots on the globe is because of some volunteer work my father does. We've traveled across Canada and parts of the US. We've gone to Europe and Asia. Next year, we'll go to South America. 3 years ago, we went to the city of Daegu in South Korea. South Korea is a high-tech, super modern country with lots of little corners that haven't changed a bit in hundreds of years. There are lots of outdoor markets, for example, where you can buy anything. Chickens, turtles, snakes, flowers, knives, frogs, dogs. I'm sorry, but the dogs are for eating. Sunglasses, incense, prayer books, everything. In fact, we wandered down one smoky alley and saw dozens of sock vendors selling thousands and thousands of socks. And down another alley, there were hundreds of stalls selling seaweed, acres of it. Flat seaweed, curly seaweed, heavy chunks of brown, paper-thin bits of green, all seaweed. And you had to wonder who was going to eat all that seaweed. But anyways, one of my favorite memories of Korea are the smelly, noisy, and generally pretty darn awesome fish markets. On arrival at the fish market, every one of my senses was engaged, and turning every corner showed something I'd never seen before. For one, my mother took a picture of Johnny Depp selling dried frogs. Also, octopi. Perhaps you've seen that solitary, sedentary octopus at the Vancouver Aquarium. Yes? Well, my friends, don't be deceived. In the Jiaojugji fish market, it was not one lonely octopus, but rather pails upon buckets, upon entire bathtubs of octopuses, octopi, and any other plural form of that 8-armed species that lives beneath the waves. The general squishiness and slimy gooiness made this octopod invertebrate a little boy's delight to hold, and to watch them squeeze their bodies about this big through a ventilation hole about this big was something truly inspiring to the escape artist in us all. And all that cool factor at a simple fish market. Now, to remind you of my point, my Korean experience was one I made. I could have sat in the clean, safe, air-conditioned hotel room playing video games or reading a book or watching TV. I know people who have, but those are the people that come back home with nothing more than the revelation that they got a new high score. But instead, I went out. I saw new things. I went new places, and I was rewarded with new stories. I took risks and made myself an adventure to remember. Here's another example. I play violin. I've actually been playing since I was 4, and through my sister's cello teacher, we heard of a summer music program where we'd get to practice 6 hours a day in Italy. Oh, you mean like Italy, like Italia. Ah, buonissimo. So last July, we headed off to Italy, to a tiny village called Casal Maggiore, where we'd have the chance to play with some awesome violinists and child prodigies. I'm not one, by the way. After many hours in the air, we arrived in Italy, in the city of Bologna, although nowhere near our destination. We'd have to find our way. As it turned out, there was no particularly easy route to Casal Maggiore. There was, however, an Italian bus, buongiorno, and 2 separate Italian trains, grazie. All the while trying to figure out north from south and whether we had to travel east or west, seriously, in Italian. So there we were, having taken the bus from l'aeroporto, and we were on our way to the Bologna train station, with our vocabulary being simply stazione, From Bologna, we got on the train to Parma, where they make both Parmesan cheese and prosciutto, both personal favorites. Now, it was close to nighttime, and we were standing on the deserted train platform. My sister, my mom, me, and our luggage. 3 suitcases, 3 carry-on bags, 2 music stands, about 5 pounds of music, my violin, and my sister's cello, about this tall. I felt like one of the Weasley brothers from Harry Potter, with the precariously placed bags everywhere, rushing to get the last train of the night. And did I mention, we were waiting for the last train of the night? Well, the train did come. We made it to our destination, and before the night was over, I had my first bite of true Italian pizza. I'm not exaggerating when I say it was the best pizza I have ever had. And the moral of this story is like the first. You make the adventure happen. We didn't speak Italian, but we all know a bit of French, and French can help you read Italian signs and train schedules. We approached people who seemed approachable. University-age people in Korea had a smattering of English, whereas in Italy, it was the older folks, most likely the grandparents, who wanted to help us. In one case, one older gentleman actually bought us ice cream without a word of English between us. So I encourage you, take a chance and have fun. Whether you're in a South Korean fish market or getting sushi or getting ice cream bought to you by an older Italian man, or even eating sushi in downtown Vancouver, the choice is all up to you. It's not the places you go, but the adventures you choose to take when you're there. Thank you.
Well, I have 2 questions. One, I'm dying to know, what did crocodile taste like?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, actually, so I can't speak. I had to try it, though. I mean, you only get to try crocodile once in a while. So I'm told it tasted like chicken. I don't know. It tasted pretty good, though, I guess. It tasted like tofu. Tofu. Has anybody had, like, the veggie chicken nuggets? Kind of like that.
And how do you make it possible to have an adventure at home? Like, could you have an adventure even just here in Vancouver?
Oh, I'm sure you could. I mean, there are, I think, I looked this up. I think there's about 4.5 million people that are coming to Canada for tourism each year. And, I mean, those 4.5 million people must be right. Some of them must be right anyways. I mean, there's got to be something here that you can see. So has everybody, I don't know, I might not be able to think of something right off the bat, but these adventures that everybody's taking, a lot of what they're saying is that you can do it too, and it might not be on such a grand scale as climbing the grouse grind 15 times in a day, but you could do it twice if you wanted, or even once. I don't know if I could do it once, so stuff like that, small things. Start with small and get bigger. So just you make the adventures that you want. Don't let people tell you what the adventures that you should take are.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah.